Hi guys, so the Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves delivered a stinging rebuttal to the rubbish both Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson delivered when they talked about helping out the most vulnerable when it comes to the rising energy costs. Reeves reminded the House of a Brexit promise Boris Johnson made before the referendum that by only leaving the European Union would it be possible to cut VAT. This of course was a lie, and now it's been proven even more so. Let's hear what Rachel had to say.
We have known that this price rise was coming for months, and today we learn that the energy price cap will increase to £1,971 in April. In October, I called on the government to provide immediate support for households, cutting VAT on their energy bills and saving £200 of bills, with £400 in extra targeted support for those who need it most, which would mean for some of the poorest families in our country almost no increase in energy bills from April. The government have not done that today. Now, we all remember when the Prime Minister said that cutting VAT was one of the benefits of Brexit. He said, and I quote, "When we vote leave, we will be able to scrap this unfair and damaging tax." Could there ever be a time where this policy is more needed than it is today? And I would have thought that the Prime Minister, with his unblemished record of integrity, would defend the commitments that he has made. But instead, it's another pledge thrown onto the bonfire of broken Tory promises.
Well said, well said. Now, there was another person who made a similar promise. Do you know this guy? Michael Gove.
If we vote to leave, the hundreds of millions of pounds that we give every week to the European Union come back to Britain, and we will control that cash. And if we vote to leave, then we're sending a clear message that we want that money spent on our priorities. My view is that we should spend that money on helping the very poorest. And one of the ways in which we can help those most in need is by cutting VAT on domestic fuel, because fuel bills are 10% of the average weekly outgoings for working families. And I think that they need help. And if we vote leave, we can help them. If we vote to leave.
So, if we vote leave, we can help the poorest in society. We can help people, for example, as you said there, cut VAT on energy. So people's bills will be cheaper. And we need to leave the European Union in order to do that. Well, the UK has left the European Union and they haven't cut VAT. Now, I've covered this before. There are other countries around Europe that have lower rates of VAT than the United Kingdom, which means that it wasn't actually necessary to leave in order to reduce VAT. But now that it's happened, why is the UK government not cutting VAT on fuel? Well, I think a big problem is due to, let me bring him back up. There he is, Rishi Sunak and the front bench. These are people who don't care. They're not impacted by this. Rishi Sunak is married to the daughter of a billionaire. Rishi Sunak himself is worth probably in the area of £150 million. He doesn't understand the problems of ordinary people. Most of the front bench have no understanding of the problems ordinary people are facing, these rising costs, because they don't feel it themselves. They don't give a crap. They don't care. They never will. They're not the party, and look at their voting records. They're not the party to look after the poor or the working class. They vote consistently to make it more difficult for those at the bottom end of the economic scale. So it's good that this is being called out. It's good that Rishi Sunak, who is a Brexiteer, is being challenged on this. But they're not going to change. They're not going to turn around and say, yes, let's actually cut VAT on fuel, because they don't care. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.